Welcome everyone to another wonderful episode here at Podiatry. This is a great case for a lot of great reasons. We have a young gentleman who has presented to our office today for the first time with a chief complaint of a significant amount of pain to the bottom of the left foot. We'll say about a year ago. This is a young gentleman. He really is. About a year ago, he had a first and foremost, a couple of years ago, he sustained an Achilles tendon rupture, right lower extremity. This is the right. And I'll go ahead and show everyone that. He did have surgery, but for whatever reason, he ended up with a combination of what we call maybe some fibrous tissue, scar tissue. It's kind of, make believe it's a cocoon that is actually scaffolding the Achilles tendon for stability. And because of that injury, a couple of years later, he started to walk differently, placing all the weight now to the left, compensating. That basically annihilated, destroyed his hip, which subsequently 1 year ago led to
full hip replacement.
A full hip replacement.
And right now I'm recovering. I think it's been a great deal of improvement in my movement, on evidently my lifestyle. And at this junction, I just found that perhaps my foot is beginning to suffer the consequences of having an excellent hip.
And that is the reality. The reason why, once you guys take a look at these lesions on the bottom of the left foot, this is a reason. The hip is the primary reason for this. So without further ado, let's get to work.
So, in all seriousness, there are two lesions on the bottom of the left foot.
The one right here is underneath the second metatarsal head, and this one on the third, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 metatarsals. So this is purely a structural problem, which is, again, the hip.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the Achilles rupture, which originally
caused the left hip
and
to,
then the surgery,
deteriorate
right,
to a point that I need to replace it. And now by applying a lot more strength and force onto that left foot, is creating some lesions and injuries.
Thank you, Dr. Wagner, for that wonderful explanation. We have a doctor in the house.
You're very well.
He's learning too quick. Okay, so without further ado, let's, again, this is a symptom of the problem. We spoke about some of the things that we can incorporate. But today, for pain management, we're going to do this, okay? And I'm sorry ahead of time. Okay, this is the callus cap. The most uncomfortable part of the procedure is what we're doing now. Once we remove this cap, so to speak, and we'll be able to see the core, right? And
which, for all practical purposes, is a callus.
Yes, callus corn. And I was telling the patient that how can something so small, right, cause so much pain?
Yeah, I lean on it a lot.
And a lot of people battle these lesions. I've always said that these lesions will make a grown man cry, or almost cry.
Well, actually impedes you from doing your normal things.
Bingo. And there is an element of fat pad atrophy as well. Mm-hmm. You may have, maybe on the other foot you have a little bit more. Mm-hmm. That's another contributory cause, right? And then we'll kind of go like this. You know, and again, I like to use the word enucleate, and that's essentially what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
We're enucleating the corn, the callus,
Mm-hmm.
the core, removing the core. That's what people say. Which is how we started the conversation, right?
Right.
Hey, can you surgically remove that core, right? Let's go over here. Look at this one.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Problem is that some of this, you see, it's got even a little fissure there, which probably hurts like crazy. Let's go from this side. I don't want to hurt him either.
You didn't find that. I'll let you know when it hurts.
I'm back for the first time, right? There we go.
I felt that.
You felt that, I'm sure.
Just a bit.
1 second. Okay, so as everyone can see, this is the, that's what they call the core.
It is very well attached to it.
Yes. Yeah. So we're gonna start just kind of working this a little bit here. It becomes softer immediately. Immediately, once we get through that callus cap, everything just becomes a little bit better. As we get deeper, it gets softer, right? Like that. Has anyone ever done this before?
I, you know.
Aside from yourself?
No, aside from myself, no.
Okay.
I tried that freezing liquid
Over the counter?
over the counter. Yeah,
Cryotherapy.
I'm not certain that is too effective.
I want to agree with you. And this is gonna, I already feel better for you. This is gonna provide an incredible amount of relief. But remember what I said, it's what?
It is temporary. We're
Yep.
not gonna have to treat it.
Yeah.
And,
It is what?
and the cause is obviously the bone is there, and it's gonna continue doing that. The same mechanical action. We're gonna have to change the way we walk. We're leaning on it.
People leave the office thinking that I'm a magician after this, but I'm not. Right?
As long as you tell me that we're not gonna die.
That's it. Yeah, none of that here. You know, and we want to take enough to alleviate the pain, but not too much where it's going to become like on the right heel. Remember where you have sore?
Right.
So you have to find that happy place. But again, we can talk about a zillion reasons why people get these.
But it's structural.
Structure, biomechanics, bottom of the floor.
No?
Oh.
You're a genius. So I'm hopeful that when I come here for my case, doctor, I'm gonna feel the same.
Yeah. So as everyone can see, you know, that's this one on the
top.
On the top there, underneath the third, that's like a crater now.
It is. So
It
the
is.
metatarsal
The metatarsal.
was doing this onto it.
Absolutely. And you know, now there might be a little bit sore, maybe, but it probably feels a whole lot better.
Right.
Boom.
You used to press on it and it felt like a stab.
Yeah.
You were stabbing something.
Yeah.
So you're.
That's what happens every time I look into the camera.
Mm-hmm. Style.
Anyway, so this is this is a great case. Absolutely, absolutely. And if you look at it from the side there, Caesar, can you see how deep it really is?
Yes, I already showed them.
You know, you can show them again. Don't be so rude. Anyways, again, symptom of an underlying problem in your particular case. It's a biomechanical structural etiology, the reason why you have this. And this could be a cause, whether it's the hip, the knee, ankle, unilateral, contralateral, whatever the case may be. So now we focus our efforts on the
posture and
Right.
recovery. And what we're gonna have is, adjust the weight that I have to
That's
take
it.
on it. I can't, and evidently I pressed on one side. for some
So the
reason.
distribution
You have to
between
be
both
even.
feet is important?
Absolutely. We're going to distribute and redistribute the weight. And that is our goal here. And of course, we're going to talk about some other possible alternative and treatments to really maximize the clinical presentation.
And also the
Eliminate
recovery.
pain. And what?
And the recovery, obviously.
100%. So, again, great case for a lot of great reasons. I'm sure a lot of you individuals out there have have battled this or are, battling this now. And as I said before, these are extremely, extremely, extremely painful clinical presentations that have solutions. So we will continue to do what we do. We're going to continue to educate the world that these clinical presentations do exist. Alternative treatments, what's out there. If you guys have any questions, please ask away. As always, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank, number one, the wife of the patient for
Following you.
absolutely following us and making it here to Jaws Podiatry. Number two, the patient for allowing us to do this and being able to educate the world, right? All those people out there that this is at the core of what we do, which is education, showing people clinical presentations, and of course, what can we do to make it better? And last but not least, Caesar is back from his 3 months or 3 weeks or what was it? Hiatus. He was in
behind the
Vegas.
camera, yeah.
And you know what they say in Vegas, right? About Vegas?
Vegas, yeah. We're not going to talk about it.
Exactly.
We're not going to talk about
Right. What happens in
it.
Vegas,
Stays in Vegas.
so it's got to stay there. As great as the stories have been, it's got to stay there. It's like, in the pocket, if you know what I mean. As always.
It's but they are street credit though. I mean, he can pull those out and say, you know what I did in Vegas. The scene on the Hangover.
Bingo.
The Hangover. For all those people out there that haven't seen that flick. Anyways, as always, thank you for watching.
Thank you.